have not done Hawaiian dancing for, what, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, but you still got it.
Looks like we did it last week.
Well, in that tone, Mele Kalikimaka. Merry Christmas. Oh my goodness. Well, it has been wonderful being back home again, seeing our friends, our family, our church family. And we leave tomorrow to go back to North Carolina and have very mixed feelings. We're both very homesick, but oh, am I going to miss the love and the laughter. It's just been a wonderful season. You know, it seems the past year or two when I have had the opportunity to speak, I've had to say, well, it's been a rough year. Well, unfortunately, that's still kind of continuing, isn't it? I want to bring a Christmas message that I hope you will carry with you into the new year. Ron and I had COVID the very first part of October, and I truly, honestly thought I was going to die a couple of those days. And I really wasn't at all afraid. And that was one of the first things that I realized once we started getting much better, and now we're fine again. But there's no fear of death. And it's interesting, I have been by hospital beds talking with people who were very, very devout in their own religion and absolutely terrified to let go. Because at the last few days, they really weren't sure what was going to happen when their physical body passed. We are so blessed to have the knowledge, and it is a knowledge because we see it demonstrated all the time, that life does continue. We are going to the higher realms. We're going to take with us our understanding, and yes, we've all made mistakes. I don't know anybody who never made a mistake. But you know, the same Creator and God, infinite intelligence, is the Creator of all. But we sometimes forget that God is not a spirit. God is the Spirit. And we're all a part of that. We're all living and breathing, and we have that God part within us. And sometimes we forget that. We get too caught up in being human, and we get so worked up about things. And quite frankly, there are many things we cannot control. I mean, we see things happening around our own world, our own little planet, and we feel helpless. And I don't think any of us enjoy feeling helpless. But in reality, we're not. We do have our own little bubble, each one of us, that we live in. We can do a lot within our own little bubble. We can begin the day by saying thank you for a good night's rest. Let me do something to help someone else today. And we can go to bed and say thank you for another beautiful day, because I guarantee you, no matter what may have happened to you that day, you are so blessed compared to multitudes. Simple kindness has seemed to fall by the wayside because, of course, the news makes news because it's about negative things. But if you search carefully, you find out there's wonderful people everywhere doing what they can to help someone else. And I know just from looking at familiar faces. All of you do that quite regularly. That's what it's all about. You know, some people may be raised in a family or a dynasty that, oh, they're here to change the world. They're going to be the greatest thing that ever happened. And people sometimes get sucked into religious organizations because of this one charismatic leader. The bottom line is, it's up to us. And sometimes we don't want to hear that. We want somebody else to do it for us. What do you mean I have to pray? What do you mean I have to meditate? What do you mean I have to follow God's laws, natural laws? Sometimes we're guilty of wanting to be the exception. And of course, there are no exceptions. One of our very, very well-known pioneers, Andrew Jackson Davis, was kind of meditating, and sometimes people fall into a sleep, and sometimes they can just meditate. But I chose to think that he was meditating because, I don't know about you, but none of my dreams have been so clear that I actually hear a paragraph of spoken words. I might get an impression, I might see some things, I might get a word, but I've never gotten a paragraph. Andrew Jackson Davis was relaxed. He was reaching out to the higher realms. And he, like many of us, was a little bit frustrated with his own life, just kind of wondering, is this it? Is this is what I'm supposed to be doing? He heard a voice, and it said, "Behold, here is thy magic staff." Now, for people who walk a lot in the mountains or on flat land, they often will use a walking stick, a staff. So Spirit was telling him, behold, pay attention. You're about to receive something that you've never had before. Here is thy magic staff. Was he given something golden and covered in diamonds? Only symbolically. Under all circumstances, keep an even mind. How many here can say they have always done that? Well, good, I'm not the only one. Keep an even mind. How hard is that in today's world with all the stuff that's going on? We're bombarded constantly. Sometimes we're in a work situation where not a lot of people are very positive. Sometimes politics don't seem to ever end. There are wars going on in other countries. How do you keep an even mind? Well, that comes clearly from connecting with Spirit. The Spirit, the Creator. Under all circumstances, keep an even mind. Take it. Take this thought and hold on to this thought. Try it. Try it. If you're going to be dealing with something and you know in advance you really don't want to do it, you really don't want to be around someone, you don't really want to complete something that you have let go for a long time, then try keeping an even mind. Walk with it. How many of us actually walk on a daily basis? Well, I know for a fact several people, if not many people here, do that. So when you're walking, you know, are you plugged into your music? That's okay. You always, bless you, always have to be aware of your surroundings. But when you walk, think about your blessings. Think about the fact that you have been given so much. You have your eyesight. You have your thought processes. You have the ability to walk. So think about the blessings that you have. Don't dwell on anybody else or anything else. It's okay to focus on yourself and build that connection. Talk with it. You know, this doesn't mean you have to run around and browbeat anybody with your personal, spiritual religion. It just means when you're talking, be kind. You know that old saying, if you can't say something good about somebody, don't say anything at all? It is an old saying. Probably many of you were not even born when that was being told to some of us. Again, I know none of you have a malicious bone in your body. But again, we can get caught up in negativity. It's easy, unfortunately, for that to rub off on us. And I'll tell you a secret that many of you, I hope, have already learned. The more spiritual you are, the more open you are, the more easily you can be affected by other people's negativity. So on one hand, we're saying, open it up, it's beautiful from spirit, it's wonderful. On the other hand, teachers will tell you, close down, kiddo, you don't go out everywhere wide open. There's too much negativity in the world. So that's why we open our day thanking God for a wonderful evening and asking for a great day. And that's why at night we can say thank you, knowing we did what we could to make our world a better place. Lean on this magic staff. Lean on it. Believe on it. It's easy to accept all of that when everything's going great. When something happens and you feel like a rug has been pulled out from under you, above all, that is the time to remember the magic staff. First of all, we know we never really walk alone. How can we? We're all connected. We're all connected. And if we could just remember that a little more often. You know, I've often wondered why people did come to have different hair color, eye color, skin color, body builds and structures. Well, I'm not in the higher planes yet, so I don't know the real answer yet, but in my opinion, it's so we will learn to love everyone. Whatever differences, and that goes beyond physical appearance. It goes into beliefs. It goes into habits. We have to have the unconditional love that Spirit, the Spirit, has for each of us. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes we have to really ask for help. But the bottom line is we're asking, we're trying, and that's the best that the Spirit would ask of us. If you look around you this time of year, there are constant reminders of joy and happiness. There's wonderful music. We'll set aside Rudolph for the morning. But there's wonderful music, and there's lights, and there's bells, little jingle bells, and little kids so excited they can hardly stand it. And spiritualism, people new to it often wonder, why do we have a Christmas tree? Christmas trees are not a part or the requirement for any religion, and it also doesn't mean if you are not a Christian, you can't have a Christmas tree. Christmas trees came around long before Christianity even. It's a celebration. It's a celebration of joy, of happiness, of being able to participate with others in uplifting ourselves and one another. And you know what? Is it an accident that Christmas comes exactly 1 week before New Year's, when many people think it's a New Year, thank goodness? You may or may not do resolutions. I kind of gave that up a long time ago. But if you really focus, enjoy the holiday, of course, but if you really focus and go within, you can start the new year with some new habits. Smiling at people is a big plus. Total strangers, it'll startle the heck out of them, but that's fun too. I read recently a lady on next door Castleberry was thanking another woman who was dancing inside her car and having a ball. Well, I've been known to do that, but that particular day, that lady, whoever she was wearing a red dress, but this woman looked over and saw her, and they both started doing that and laughing. Don't you know it changed their day? Don't you know that everybody they came in contact with, they gave a smile? We can do that. We can do that for others. We're much more powerful than we realize. People tease my precious mother so much. I honestly, in all my life, I've never known her to have an enemy or an unkind thought. But I would visit her in her later years when she did need to be in a group home. And I would walk in through the lobby of this spectacular place, and there were so many people there, sitting in the lobby or sitting in the dining room, and everybody was very clearly unhappy. And then there would be my mother with a bunch of people all around her, and she was smiling and laughing and encouraging people. They were drawn to her like moths to a light. So if you're lonely, and many people are this time of year, we miss those who have gone to the higher realms. But if you're lonely, please don't pull yourself into that cocoon. Anytime you see someone else, wish them a good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever, and smile. Look them in the eyes. Look them in the eyes. We don't do that half as much as we should. I don't know what we're afraid we'll see, but we, connect. Let that other person know you see them. You acknowledge them. You recognize them. We do have a new year coming up. I hope you will remember the magic staff. I hope you'll think about it a lot this week as you interact with others. And I can promise you, just as the Spirit promised us, if we can love one another, we will be so loved and so blessed.